Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Rawlings NBC Baseball First Pitch. My name is Derek Dockett. And as always, as I've been joined all season long by Shane Dennis. And Shane, our Valley Baseball All-Conference Awards and Specialty Awards have been announced. And I'll tell you what, when you look at that list of the Specialty Awards, at least, Dallas Baptist well represented in that list of players.
No doubt. And you had what I think was the most easy no-brainer newcomer and player of the year. And they were both the same guy, Derek Hall, who, as I got to see him in person, was more and more impressed as I saw him pitch. You know, sometimes you see a two-way player and you describe them as, oh, he's a pretty good pitcher for a position player or vice versa. Derek Hall would be an ace on almost everybody else's staff in the Missouri Valley Conference and elsewhere around the country. He was tied for second in the league with wins with 8, and he also was second in strikeouts as well. So not something you see very often from a two-way player is somebody that is that durable as a pitcher. And then, of course, his numbers really spoke for themselves offensively. He was right behind Spencer Johnson and Jake Berger on the power categories in the league. He ends up with a more than respectable third in the Valley in slugging percentage, home runs, RBI behind those two guys. So just a real easy pick, if you ask me, as far as newcomer of the year and Joe Carter player of the year. And again, he has standalone numbers as a pitcher and a position player, and it just so happens he's great at both.
While we're on the subject, Dallas Baptist, our last time out in this segment, you talked about the coach of the year, and you thought that Kid Henderson from Southern Illinois was a shoo-in for that, but the voting turns out that the Patriots went in the regular season, the 15-5 conference record. Dan Hefner wins the Valley's Dan Callahan Coach of the Year award.
And sometimes, Derek, you don't get rewarded for doing what you're supposed to. And I think that's exactly the case with Dan Hefner. Everybody thought that Dallas Baptist would be at the very top of the league. As it turned out, they were at 15-5, like you mentioned. But it seemed like it was more daunting than that. Everybody I talked to and ran into seemed like it was a foregone conclusion from almost the first month that, well, we're not going to catch Dallas Baptist, but we can finish here. And as it turned out, they did just that. Won the league by 2.5 games, but again, it felt like much more. They had 3 conference road trips in the month of April alone and went 8-3 in those conference road games, and a very impressive performance at Bob Warren Field, where they swept Indiana State 3 games. So you add all those things up and you get Dallas Baptist with its first crown, regular season crown that is, and congratulations to Dan Hefner for, in some ways, doing what was expected of them. But with that comes a lot of pressure, and the Patriots handled it great.
Interesting for the Freshman of the Year award. We've got co-freshmen in the Valley with Jameson Hannah of Dallas Baptist and Grayson Janista of Wichita State. Don't see that often, but these two guys really had a solid year. It's kind of hard to keep both these guys away from that award.
Yeah, it was. And I can't remember a year where more freshmen were really stat heavy in the Missouri Valley Conference. A lot of teams were built around freshmen in this season. And you mentioned 2 of the guys, Hannah and Genesta, both in the top 8 in the league in hitting. Hannah ended up 4th at 338, and Grayson Genesta, after about the first 3 weeks of the year, ended up right in the middle of the Wichita State order virtually from then until now. But you've also got other guys from Missouri State, Hunter Steinmetz, Jeremy Ironman, 2 kids from Bradley, Andy Shaddid and Luke Mangieri, and also Owen Miller from Illinois State. Just one freshman right after another that we'll see at Bob Warren Field in the Missouri Valley Conference Championship. Many offenses that you'll see this week and weekend will be led by freshmen, but, you know, Hannah and Genesta, the cream of the crop this year.
Finally, 2 players get recognition. First of all, Jake Berger, Missouri State. We know what he did with the bat, getting recognition from the league as the Defensive Player of the Year award, and Colin Poche of Dallas Baptist. We talked a lot about him during this segment, winning the Valley's Pitcher of the Year award.
Yeah, and first, Poche, he'll probably be a pretty high draft pick for Dallas Baptist. Big frame, a left-hander, strike thrower. And to me, he just barely edged out Michael Baird from Southern Illinois. And I think the totality of what Poche gives you, ERA, batting average against, innings, and strikeouts, top 5 in all those categories in the Missouri Valley Conference. His team is 13-1 when he starts. and his overall record 8-0. So hard to argue there. Baird with a little better ERA, a little more dependable overall, but a very close vote, I'm sure. And congratulations to Colin Poche, who stepped right in and did exactly what Dan Hefner would have wanted him to, coming in as a transfer. And then Jake Berger, like you mentioned, gets all these accolades offensively, but that was the one thing that stuck out to me when I watched him last year. He handled himself very well as a freshman at third base. You got to have good footwork, you got to be light on your feet, be able to go range both ways, and then obviously have that great arm, and he's got all those things. And speaking of draft picks, he's going to be the next Missouri Valley Conference real good draft pick about a year from now for sure.
All right, well, that's two back-to-back Defensive Player of the Year's award for Missouri State. Obviously, Joey Hawkins, the shortstop, Missouri State, won that award last year. So, all right, Shane, it's tournament time. Time to get the games going and have some fun at Bob Warren Field in Terre Haute. We'll see you there in a couple hours and let the games begin.
It should be a wide-open tournament. Everybody's probably got to feel like they got a real good shot to win it.
All right, that's Shane Dennis. Appreciate his time all season long, folks. Thanks for watching. It's been another edition of the Rawlings ABC Baseball First Pitch.